First question will be Ira Stoffel from Warchant.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I want to ask you how the mock game went on Saturday. How'd you feel about the operations and just overall thoughts about the offense going into the game week?
I thought it went really well. I think Coach Norvell does a really good job putting everybody in game day situations with that mock game. Basically, every situation that could happen in a football game, we're simulating, from a guy cramping up and who's his backup, two guys cramping up and who's the third team guy to go in, from us getting a penalty with under a minute left, 10-second runoff, but the clock is going to start on the ready whistle. All those situations that we can simulate, and I thought our guys did a good job understanding the situation, because that's what football games are going to come down to. And I like where we're at. Obviously, it's not where we want to be. It's never where we want to be, because we want to continue to get better. But I think our guys are working hard. I think they're in a good mindset. We just got to continue to push.
Next will be Matt Baker from Tampa Bay Times.
Hey, Kenny, what have you seen out of Warren Thompson in camp to help him kind of earn the starting job?
I think he's done a great job. Ball skills. He's a guy who can go attack the football. He's obviously a big body who's explosive. I mean, he's a really dynamic playmaker. And having him out there on the field at the same time as Terry, having him out on the field at the same time as pretty much anybody, he is an explosive playmaker that we're going to try to get the ball vertically down the field. That's going to be physical in the blocking game. He's just done a really nice job for us in all aspects this fall camp.
Kenny, on Saturday, are you going to be in the press box or on the sideline? And I think you've said before that your role is to help Coach Norvell however he needs it. What does that specifically look like with going ahead and play calling? Like, are you looking 2 or 3 plays ahead or making suggestions? I guess, how does that dynamic work on game days?
Well, I'm going to be in the press box. I'm always in the press box. I mean, like I said before, I've been there basically since I was a high school coach. I've been in the press box. And Coach Norvell and I have a very unique dynamic on game day. It's super unique. But the good thing is we're always on the same page. I mean, that's the one thing. It's why I'm back here with Coach, and it's why I want to be here with Coach, and I'm excited to operate a game with him again, is because we're on the same page, and our communication is completely fluid, and it's just a unique and special dynamic on game days.
Next will be Kurt Weiler from Tallahassee Democrat.
Hey, Coach. Coach Norvell kind of started out obviously talking about game week and all that. I mean, for y'all, I'm sure for the team as well, after kind of such an unprecedented offseason, how nice has, I guess, the normalcy of preseason camp and now the normalcy of game week been?
It's been awesome. I mean, just getting back on the field with the guys. You know, I love coaching. I really do. Like, I love coaching and being able to just get back out there and coach. You know, the guys, they love football. Being able to get back out there and play football. So just the normalcy with all the stuff COVID-related, just the normalcy of getting out there and playing the game you love or coaching the game you love is just a blessing.
Next we'll go to Perry from Tomahawk Nation.
Coach, Georgia Tech has a pretty strong secondary and a little bit of a developing defensive line. What are some things, without giving away the whole playbook, that you're looking to do and emphasize in the game?
Well, I think game ones, there's so many unknowns. I mean, yeah, you can see what a player was a year ago, 9 months ago, but I know that staff has done a phenomenal job in the offseason with those guys. So there's so many unknowns going into week one. The key is to be able to execute and worry about yourself. It's not as much about scheme. It's not as much about their strengths or weaknesses, because there's so many unknowns to that. So you really have to evaluate what you do well. And I think that's going into week ones. I think what successful teams do is they're not as worried about the opponent, they're more worried about themselves. And that's a coaching cliche that you can take week to week to week to week. But I think that is really, really, really important when you're talking week one, when there's so many other dynamics that could happen that you don't understand and you don't know that their team's going through.
Chris Nee from Noles 247.
Hey, Kenny, can you talk a bit about Maurice Smith, what he brings to the center position, how he did a good job elevating himself with a couple more veteran guys ahead of him?
I think he had some playing experience last year, and that's a guy who's super athletic, super powerful for his size. So I think his athleticism and strength, because he is a strong guy for his size, allows us to be extremely flexible up there with a lot of line movement that this conference brings. This conference is a big line movement conference, a lot of pressures. His athleticism is going to help us from that regard. And we like athletic guys up front, and I think his versatility up front is essential for us. And he's done a really good job mentally. Coach Atkins has done a really good job with him mentally to be able to ID fronts, ID pressure, looks, ID everything he would need to see from safety rotation to linebacker location when it comes to helping our quarterback in protections, whether it comes to IDing the front. He's done a really nice job.
We'll go back to Ira from Warchant.
Following up on the offensive line, we know that none of those positions are set in stone long-term necessarily, but when did you guys kind of settle in on it? Is that a possible 5, moving Baby under guard and giving Maurice the job at center?
I think last week, about the last, week and a half, we've kind of explored with it. But that's something that we've explored with, really going back to spring ball. We've kind of been moving those guys around. So that's just been one of the many moving pieces on our football team that we've just kind of been putting in every once in a while and trying to find what combination is the best. And I think that 5 combination, was the most productive play in and play out through the fall camp.
We'll go back to Aslan from Warchant.
Kenny, Mike talked about he has all these sort of plans and options in case something happens, whether it's health related or player personnel stuff. Not only for you guys as coaches, but what is Mike Norvell's sort of organizational skills and just attention to detail? What does it do for like the psyche of a 19-year-old, 20-year-old kid who's playing football for him right now?
Well, I think when kids are smart. And I think sometimes adults, coaches, fans, media, they don't understand how smart kids are. Kids understand, players understand when you're organized. Players understand when you have a plan. Players understand when you believe in what you're talking about. And that's something that I think Coach Norvell does an incredible job of, is every time he talks, every time he presents, our guys believe in him because he's put in the work to develop the plan. And that plan, he believes in that plan, I believe in that plan, our coaching staff believes in that plan. So when we actually teach it and explain the plan, our guys understand that we believe in it. And they see it, and then they believe in it. So I think it all starts at, coach's organizational skills, and then the time he puts in to actually sit down and hammer out all the little details. We've talked about rain delays and what our operation is on a rain delay and how they've changed the rules. And now it's with less than a certain amount of time in the first half, it now is going to take over halftime. So you're not going to get a halftime. We've discussed that. I don't know how many teams in the country have discussed the new rain delay rule. And that's something that Coach Norvell, no little detail is going to go past him. And all that stuff is why he's the head coach he is.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Y'all have a great day.